Today, we're diving deep into the art of presenting your solution. If you're tired of the old pitch and pray method and you want to see a dramatic increase in your closing rates, this one's for you. But here's the thing. I'm not going to give you some cheesy sales script or a bunch of manipulative tactics. That's not what sales inception is all about. Instead, I'm going to share a powerful framework that'll help you present your solution in a way that feels natural and authentic and genuinely helps your prospects. This is how you build trust. This is how you establish credibility. This is how you close deals without resorting to sleazy tactics. So often what I found is a mistake for salespeople when they're presenting their solution is they often focus too much on their solution. They make the sales presentation all about what they offer instead of understanding what the prospect needs and concerns and wants are. So sometimes that's focusing way too much on the features instead of the benefits. Sometimes they just talk to the prospect instead of just actually having a back and forth conversation. And they really fail to address the prospect's specific needs and concerns. And so what that can look like is when you come in and all you care about is showing your slides or giving your preset presentation, and not taking time to make sure it's a fit for the client. And so something easy to remember is if you go in and sell with a prescriptive selling method. So the prescriptive selling method is this idea that I'm going to go in and act like I'm the doctor. I'm going to start with a diagnosis. Then I'm going to prescribe something to them. I'm going to educate them. I'm going to collaborate with them. And then I'm going to follow back up. And when I say follow up, I actually mean after they're a customer. So just like a doctor, like I wouldn't go into a doctor's office, ask for morphine and expect to get the morphine right away. Like a doctor is going to start by asking questions to really understand a prospect's pain and challenges. And if we don't do that, if we go right into selling our solution without understanding their needs, we're committing sales malpractice, right? Like just as, a doctor wouldn't prescribe something without finding out what the needs or concerns of his patient was, like we shouldn't offer our solution if we don't understand what they need. Now, I will say, sometimes we have a product or solution and we know it's going to solve certain challenges. So how do we deal with that? What if I have a product where I know their problem and they don't know the problem? It's the same thing. We still want to diagnose the problem. Just sometimes that diagnosis isn't for us. Sometimes the diagnosis is for them so they can understand what their actual problem is at the end of the day and what the problem will be if they don't go with you or if they don't move forward, right? So we want to start with a diagnosis, right? We want to understand where their pain points are. We want to ask them questions. We want to see where their challenges are. And then that's where we can actually prescribe or present our diagnosis or solution to them. And look, when we present a solution, the solution needs to be dialed in and focused on exactly what their diagnosis was. Like we need to sell to the problem, not sell to everything we can do, right? So sometimes I've found we're so excited about everything our product or service can do is we tell them every feature it has, and it often overwhelms them. And it often makes them feel like, man, this guy doesn't get me. He doesn't know what I'm looking for. Like all I want help with is this. Or, hey, he's telling me all these other things. I'm paying for a bunch of stuff I don't need, right? So when you find the problem, you sell to just the problem. When you diagnose the pain, you prescribe just to the pain. They don't need to know about everything else. And you know what the great thing is? Even if everything else you have in your product or service is amazing, what's way better is when you sell to the pain and they come to realize, man, I'm getting so much more than I asked for at the end of the day. That's an awesome feeling when the customer recognizes, hey, he didn't tell me I was going to get this and this and this. This is awesome, right? So you diagnose, you prescribe, then you educate. You explain how the solution that you're offering is the best option for them. You give them some understanding so so they can you give them some education so they can come to an understanding of why it's going to benefit them, why it's going to help them. And then you collaborate with them. You involve the prospect in designing the solution. So sometimes we are just too quick to tell them how it's going to be done. And I think sometimes what we can actually do that's really powerful as well is show them how we're going to work through this with them, how we're going to be a partner for them, how we're going to be an advocate in what they're trying to accomplish or to achieve. And so sometimes there's some real power in letting the customer talk through how they can see this work for them and make them feel like they're a part of the solution, make them feel like they're a part of actually healing and getting better. And, sometimes we talk about how in the medical world, people just want the pill to solve the problem or the symptom. They want a painkiller to solve the symptom, but sometimes they don't look at solving the deeper rooted problem. And I think when we can unveil those deeper rooted problems, then we can talk about how we can get through that together, or what they're going to do when they leave our office, so to speak, or when they're not with us using our product, and how they can overcome things. And lastly, there's some follow-up. Just as when a doctor makes a prescription, they usually have follow-up visits after to see how it's going. A good salesperson should continue to provide support and guidance even after the sale's closed. And what I found when you do that is it often leads to happier customers, more referrals, and if things aren't going well, it's your chance to step in and save the deal and create a happy prospect or customer. Now, depending on your organization, you may or may not have much responsibility after the sale. And it can be, even if you don't have much responsibility, a quick check-in from the salesperson can sometimes really mean a lot. And so I've seen where when I've taken the time to really understand what someone's needs are, or taken the time to help them understand, if I know what their needs are, help them understand what their needs are, it really makes it easy to prescribe to their pain and help them move forward with what they want. So encourage you to look at how you sell. Am I diagnosing where they're at? Am I prescribing? Am I educating? Do I collaborate? Do I follow up? Because doing these things can help you close more deals and have more success. So encourage you to share in the comments examples of how properly diagnosing and prescribing has helped you close more deals, or maybe any challenges you have with doing this. I'm Drew Norton, the Everyday Sales Leader. This is your daily dose of Sales Inception.